Okay, full disclaimer here. I love my mother. She is a very good woman. She is God-fearing. She's kind. She's gentle. Everybody loves her. She traveled the world before she got married. She was highly educated before she got married. She speaks multiple languages. Her English is pristine. It's very dignified. She is an elegant woman. The way she dresses, the way she behaves, the way she acts. There's so many wonderful qualities about her. She managed to raise me and my siblings very, very well, the best of her ability. And in my opinion, and in hers, and I think in my father's, she had a very successful marriage until my dad's passing. And I think, of course, she has issues. I'm not saying that she doesn't, but what I'm about to say doesn't negate the fact that she is a good woman and that she did her best at being a mother. And she was doing what she thought was best when she did what she did. And there's probably about 3 different things. So this is probably going to be a 3-part series about my mommy issues. That really messed me up huge. And the first one is I was 10 years old. Now, as you can probably tell from my videos, just like right now, I wasn't a typical 10-year-old girl. I wasn't really into Barbies. Didn't really like any of that. But what I did like was boy toys. I liked things that transformed, like Transformers, or like action figures, or like things that you could build. Like, I liked the toy guns and the archery sets and, you know, all of those things, because I just felt like they were just way more like you could do something with them. You know what I mean? And it was always a fight at my house because my mom would want to buy me Barbies and like cute stuffed toys and all these things. And I'd be like, well, I want this toy gun, or I want this, you know, Lego, or I want this Transformer, or I want this like action figure or whatever. And my dad would be like, just let her have it. Like, what's the big deal? And my mom would always be like, but she needs it. She needs pink. So I didn't wear pink for a long time. I actually hated the color pink, which is so funny and ironic because pink is actually now my favorite color. But at the time, for years and years and years, up until I was probably in high school, I refused to wear pink and I refused to wear dresses because my mother insisted I be a little girl in dresses and I wear pink. And she insisted on me behaving in very specific ways. And because of that, it really, really messed me up. I mean, thousands of hours probably of therapy that I've paid for, that she paid for, and I'm still not over it. And I still pray to Allah about how to kind of get over it. And only now in recent times, when I've really started to turn my entire life and face everything towards Allah, that I'm starting to feel okay. But even in the story I'm about to tell you is like the most cringe. Like, I get hives just thinking about what she said to me and how it made me feel and how it changed my perspective on who I am and what it means to be a girl. So imagine I'm in my bedroom, I'm 10 years old, and I'm playing. And yeah, I'm not playing with Barbies. I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe I'm doing a puzzle or something like that, right? But I'm doing something that interests me. And I don't think about boys. Like, there's classmates at school, and I chat with them and, you know, might play at recess or something. But like, I'm not like thinking about being in love and marriage and sex or any of those things. And my mom came into my room and she says, I need to have a conversation with you, and it's an extremely important conversation. And I was like, okay, right? I had no idea what she was going to say. And I wasn't particularly scared because I was a really good little girl. I got really good grades. I was really nice and polite. I did what I was told. Whenever I got Eid money or birthday money or anything like that, or just money just because, I would like save most of it. You know, I was generous with it. I wanted to give it to my grandma or like buy presents for other people. Like, I was a really good little girl. And I wasn't thinking about boys at all. And my mom says to me, ugh, so cringe. Ugh, like, bruh, so gross. She says, I need you to keep yourself pure. I'm like, okay. I don't even know what that means. She's like, because I've talked to your father, and when you get older, you are going to marry one of your cousins. And these were brothers. And they were like 4 years older than me or 7 years older than me. Okay. That's a whole other video that I will talk about at one point in terms of these brothers and what happened in the trauma induced by that as well. And she's like, so you can choose which one you want to marry. And I was like, huh? What are you talking about? And she says to me, because I have this look of horror on my face. So she says to me, your father told me that I need to tell you that you need to keep yourself pure. And I'm still looking at her in like, I don't know what you just said, and why am I marrying my cousin? Like, that doesn't even live in this country, lives in another country, and how am I supposed to choose which one? And what are you talking about? And she then goes on to be even more cringy and says, you have to keep yourself pure. You can't let another man touch you. You have to be a virgin. And I'm like, we were just starting to learn about this stuff in school. And I was like, what now? And do you know what that did to me? All of my mother's good intentions. It made me feel like somehow I was a piece of meat. Like somehow I was a commodity, a cow to be traded. And even at that age, and as I got older, this whole notion of like, oh, thank you. You're doing such a big favor on me that I get to choose between this brother or that brother. Like, what the actual F? You know what I mean? Like, it was insane. And because I have the personality I do, and not every girl, not every woman is going to have that personality, but because I have the personality I do, as I got older, the only thing I could think of, because it upset me, it hurt me so much, it was so gross. I didn't, like, I wasn't thinking about sex. I was 10. I wasn't thinking, like, gross. Like, it was so traumatic for me that at some point I decided that sex was meaningless. That sexuality and sexual relationships were meaningless. They don't mean anything. And that being pure was just something like weird and gross. And I started buying in to all of these sentiments around sexual revolution and what it means to be a free woman. And now I didn't like, I didn't have sex. It's not like I was like, 10 years old or 14 or even 20, I didn't go that far. But I eventually did. right? In university, I eventually did. And now, through a lot of therapy, and most of my therapy, honestly, is tahajjud. I wake up in the middle of the night and have conversations with Allah, and Allah helps me understand things. I've got counselors, I've got doctors, I've got, other people in my life that I can talk to that are trusted, like sheikhs and other spiritual leaders, that I talk to that help me process all kinds of things, not just this. But I'm divorced. I was married for a while, and I actually feel really badly about my relationship with my ex-husband, because I used to envy women and even men that felt this intimate connection to their spouse, especially when it came to sexual intimacy. And I just couldn't feel it. Like, it was fun and it was great, but it wasn't sacred and it wasn't important. And I think that's also why I didn't necessarily wear a hijab, why I was okay with wearing, shorts or skirts, or, like bare arms, or all those things. And again, it's not a judgment on anyone that's doing any of that, right? I've done it all, and I don't think that there's anything wrong with anyone that is, the way you dress is the way you dress, right? And I don't think that there should ever be any judgment. I will fight till death to say that a woman has the right to wear a niqab, and the woman also has a right to wear a bikini and walk down the street, and everybody should lower their gaze, and nobody should make them a target for anything. So I will die on that hill. So I'm not judging in that. Please don't think that. But it shaped who I am. It shaped how I felt about myself, and it shaped my ability to actually experience something that was supposed to be sacred, and I couldn't. And it took a lot for me to get to a place where now, alhamdulillah, I have respect for myself. I have respect for my body in a different way, right? And I don't put myself into precarious situations the way that I did, all because my mom made a mistake in how she approached something. And you know what the irony of the whole situation is? As it turns out, it was always and has always been in my nature to lower my gaze. It has always been inside of me. I was created this way, to always be a hijabi. It is my real true self to have the choice on who I show myself to and who I don't. It is the ultimate, most empowering thing I've ever done in my whole entire life. And I don't feel restricted at all. In fact, I feel free. So the irony is that everything that my mother wanted for me when I was 10 years old, because of how she approached it and what she said, ended up creating the exact opposite effect. And had she had said nothing, I probably would have happily married one of those brothers, one of those cousins. Maybe, I don't know. But it would have been a much different life for me, and I would have done exactly what she wanted. But because of how she handled the situation, I ended up being a very, very different person and had to go through in a completely different trajectory in order to get to the exact place she wanted me to be in anyways. So parents, be super, super careful about what you say to your kids and how you say it, even with the best of intentions. Especially if your kid is already a good kid. and be age appropriate. Allah knows best.